Now what we're really here, and me and Ernie showed up for, was the beer tasting. So we're gonna go down a few lists of beers, the 3 that they offer to the public, and then 1 that's coming soon. So start it off, man. Tell us what we got.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming, guys. Too. It's been nice.
Hey, so free alcohol.
So today we're gonna taste 4 beers, like Adam said. So we're gonna start with a beer. It's called El Primero, which means the first, and it's our first beer we ever made. It is a Mexican style lager that's super light, easy drinking. It's made with Vienna and Pilsner malt, and if you take a drink, it's made to be light and easy. It's not gonna wreck your palate. It's not gonna kill you. It's supposed to be refreshing. So let's take a drink. So you're gonna get a real clean finish on that. It's made to not fill you up, and it's made to pair very nicely with Mexican food. It pairs great with the spice. It makes it easy, and you're not gonna get a bitter aftertaste like you do on some Mexican imports that have aged quite a bit. And so that's why what we're all about: light, easy, fresh drinking Mexican lagers.
Yeah, that was actually very nice, very smooth. Very easy to drink, so if you don't really look for a heavy beer, that actually can go well with anything, or even just as a casual drink. That's really, really good.
I might actually ask questions. So do you know, I mean, obviously, like, your style of beer is kind of like, you know, people probably like, oh, is it like Corona? Do you guys like adding stuff in it, like limes and stuff, or do you think that your beer is better just straight up?
So the beers we made them so they can go straight up.
Okay.
So you'll taste a beer today that we in the process 2 weeks before the end, we add in lime or we add in guava.
Okay.
But we're not against it. Some people still add limes to our beers, which we're fine with.
Yeah.
But we make it so if they don't want to, they don't have to.
And what's the percentage on this one?
This is a 5%.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of cool. One of the things we did with our beers is we raised the ABV versus traditional Mexican lagers. Traditional Mexican lagers run around 4.2 or 4.4%. But we purposely made them more in line with the American style lagers, around 5%.
Got it. Cool. I like this one.
Cool. That's El Primero. The next one we're going to taste is actually our best seller. It's called Rico, which means rich, and it's a little maltier. But the cool thing about this, when we launched it, it was the first ever what they call Mexican strong lager in the United States. So they have Mexican strong lagers that are higher ABV, higher alcohol in Mexico. A little interesting fact is that in Mexico, all the ABVs are lower. So like a Mexican strong lager in Mexico is about 5%.
It's like when you go to Utah.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was in minor leagues, there's nothing worse than
exactly.
You're like, I gotta have 47 beers
now.
now.
Exactly. So Rico, what we did is he said, hey, let's take a Mexican strong lager and introduce it to the United States. And we made it 6.5, which is more in line with like an IPA ABV. But we don't want it to be like alcohol tasting. We didn't want it to be heavy. So we took that same light flavor, we add a little more malt to it, and then we raised the ABV. We got it to 6.5%. Mexican strong lager. The only other one I know of came in after us last year, and they brought it in at 7.2 and put it in a 25-ounce can.
Oh.
And,
this is the one that's bottled, right?
This is bottled. It's in the black. Primero's in the blue, and then Rico is in the black.
Yeah, the boys have been loving it lately in the office.
I was just going to say that the Rico is a popular one at the office. The 100% media boys enjoy that whenever I bring it in. That's actually my personal favorite too. It's actually not really heavy. It's not much heavier than the El Primero, but it does have a little bit of flavor in it if you like that. And it's not that same bite that a normal higher content lager has, but it's really, really good.
I'll tell you what, Ernie, if E29 doesn't work out for you, you can come work here for these guys talking about their beer.
A second. Look at it.
I remember, he's a professional.
I'm bucking for the tequila.
Yeah. So obviously you guys, where do you guys brew your beers at?
So we brew in 2 locations. We brew in Buellton, California, which is north about 3 or 4 hours, and then we brew in Lakeland, Florida. Since we sell beer both on the East Coast and the West Coast, we try to brew as close as possible to the location to keep beer fresh. And then when we open Texas, we're actually going to start brewing in Texas.
Got it. Cool. I like it.
All right, that's Rico. Next beer we'll try is Limon, which is an amazing beer. It's a great summer. It's refreshing. It's light. We start with a base beer of El Primero, and then the last 2 weeks we add fresh lime and a little bit of salt, just a hint of salt. And again, going back to your question about do you add fruit? Well, you don't have to add fruit. And I'll tell you, it's kind of tricky with lime because you don't want to put too much in a beer, because if you have too much citric acid, people will start to pucker and they won't drink as much.
Yeah.
You want them to have just enough so that they'll want another one. They'll drink it, but it makes them thirsty again. You don't want them to drink it and then go, oh, I've had enough.
Yeah.
So that's Limon.
Nice.
Yeah. I had never tasted the limon. Actually, I kind of always stopped at the Rico, but that that definitely has a different taste, and you can actually taste that really clear. Sometimes I don't personally put lime in mine just because I don't like that strong taste, but that doesn't have that strong taste of a lime in it.
I think my favorite thing about drinking like Mexican style beers is that, it's not like when you go to like Irish pubs and you have like that one Guinness or whatever, like we used to call it a pork chop in a cup.
Yeah.
Because it fills you up so much.
Yeah.
But you can definitely taste the salt, like at the, you know what I mean?
At the end.
Yeah, you do it at the end. No, it's, I just like how it's like, these kind of beers you can just drink whenever you want. Like by poolside, at night, during the day, you can have 3, you can have 1. In the office, a lot. Yeah, yeah, and they don't wreck you either. And you're not like super bloated and full after them. Yeah,
that's exactly.
Yeah.
We made the beer specifically like that. And though it's cool, you can pair all these if you want to make a michelada or what we call a Chihuahua here.
Yeah.
You can pair them with anything. You can make them. They're great. But that's limon. So that's the green one. And if you see it in the stores, it's just hitting more stores, the limon. The next one is actually a test beer. It's called Guava Lime. And there's a couple cool things about this. One, we are seeing an increase in beers that are lower calorie. And so we wanted to bring something out that was super light, low calorie, low carb if people want it, but we didn't want to take away the flavor and the taste. And guava and lime are traditional Mexican fruits. And so what we did is we created a beer called Guava Lime, and it's 96 calories, I gotta remember, because we've gone variations from 99 to 95. And it's only 3.2 carbs, but you still get a full flavor beer. And you're drinking actually version 2.
Okay.
Usually it takes us about 3 to 4 times before we nail a beer. Version 3 we've already had out. We went through it. We made a few changes. Version 4 and the final version will come out in September. But we'll make a few more tweaks. You might get a hint more guava, but again, using the fresh guava in there, it gives it a light, refreshing flavor, and it's great for summer.
Yeah, that's actually a definitely different taste, and you can also notice the color difference in the beers between this last one. That's really unique. One of the things I wanted to ask, when you're brewing these, how do you come up with the different flavors, or how do you start with the flavors where you decide which way to go?
So Matt, who's our director of brewing, he does a ton of taste tests in his kitchen, and we start there, and then it's almost like the mad scientist. We get stuff, we'll get some base beer, and then we start adding in different flavors, and we get to the point, okay, this might be good, this might be great, and then based on experience, we then slowly ramp it up. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, you'll start brewing bigger batches, and we've had batches where we brewed and they come out and like, oh my God, that's terrible, toss this thing. But we start really literally in like a bottle or a cup, we raise it up and get bigger and bigger, because the taste will change when you start brewing in large vessels. Mm-hmm. But we've had some fun, like Guava Lime, like I said, we'll get to the 4th rendition of that. We have a beer that we're testing right now that will show up in the tap room eventually. It's called a Cherry Mexican Lager. It's a cherry flavored Mexican lager. It's a test name right now, but like I was saying, the first batch came out, we're like, whoa, no way, we're not gonna we've missed it. But for the most part, it's on experience and understanding how the different flavors work together.
So that's one of the questions I was gonna ask you too. I've been lucky enough to have some close friends that work at Sam Adams and really high up in there. So I, go to Boston, go in there, be all about, like, got to meet Jim, drink out of his bottle and everything. So for you guys, what kind of direction are you trying to take the company? Like with Boston Lager, it's crazy how many beers will never leave or never get tasted. There's so many tastes out of there. And how do you feel like you guys compete with like them or even like the bigger brands?
Yeah, so we have a really specific market plan. When we put this together, we wanted to be very focused. And so one of the things that I think a lot of breweries get in trouble with is they start brewing too many beers, especially the young ones, the small ones. All of a sudden you have 30 brands and your expenses rise and you're only selling those brands occasionally. So what we said, we're never gonna have more than 4 to 5 beers in the market at a time. Very tough to compete with those big guys. So we're on a plan where we're building the market slowly. And our focus is on southern United States. So we started specifically in California, then we went to Florida, and then we're going to Texas, and then we'll tie in all those states together. But we think we offer the consumer something different in the sense that if you go to the grocery store and you walk to the craft section, there's 200-300 brands in there. You walk to the grocery store and you walk into the Mexican import section, there's only 4 or 5 brands that sell. I like the odds to be 1 of 5 versus 1 of 200 or 300.
Sure. Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, most people don't compete in that category because it's a very long-term, risky proposal, and you have to have the capital to do it. Because Constellation, which does Modelo, Corona Pacifico in the U.S., AB that does Estrella, and Heineken FIMSA, which does Tecate and Dos Equis, they have a lot of money and they have a lot of resources.
Right.
And so you have to really be on the long-term plan. And so our plan is we're going to be 2 feet wide, but 2 miles deep versus 10 miles wide and an inch deep.
Yeah.
And that's how we're trying to compete.
That's awesome, man. Well, I can't thank you enough for just the hospitality. Remember, guys, if you're in Newport or if you're in Riverside and you want to go to Newport, you got to come check this place out. It's completely open, and they're starting a new thing today where they're having out in the parking lot. They got bags going, they got food, they got music, they got a great time over here. So we just can't be more grateful for the hospitality, and thank you so much for having us.
Thanks. If you guys are out, Staters, Vallarta, Northgate, Superior, Cardenas, they're in all the grocery stores in the Inland Empire or anywhere in Southern California, so join us.
Awesome.
Well, thanks again, Phil. Real quick, I wanted to have you let everybody know how they can find you on social media. You guys have a pretty good presence.
Thank you.
How they can find the locations, how they can find the beer. You guys have a pretty cool app. And again, just kind of let everyone know how they can find you and where they can find you again.
Awesome. So you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at #Chihuahua Cerveza. Go there. We have our in-house videographer does amazing videos for us, and we try to really engulf the community into our social media as well. We're in all the grocery stores, whether the Hispanic chains or the regular chains like supermarkets like Stater Brothers. You can find us Southern California, Arizona. I gotta remember this: Georgia, Florida, and then soon to be Texas.
Putting Phil in the spot.
Yeah, exactly. And now I've
there.
tasted 4 beers. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.